What if Goten was the legendary Super Saiyan? He was always cheerful, gentle, and innocent. But deep inside, Goten hid something ancient, something terrifying, something legendary. During a simple training session with Gohan, it happened. His energy exploded, not golden, but emerald. He didn't speak. He roared. Even Vegeta paused. Even Goku hesitated. Goten was no longer a child. He was the myth reborn, and no one knew if he could control it. The world looked to Goten with awe and fear. Would he be a savior or a destroyer? Only time, and the Saiyan spirit, would decide. What if Krillin was the legendary Super Saiyan? In a twist of fate, it wasn't Broly. It wasn't Vegeta. It was Krillin, the weakest of them, who awakened the power of the legendary Super Saiyan. Krillin's mind buckled under the weight of the form. He couldn't think. He couldn't stop. Every friend looked like a threat. Cities fell. Oceans boiled. The earth cried out as the smallest warrior became its destroyer. To save the world, Goku had to stop his best friend, even if it meant killing him. What if Android 18 turned against Drive Gero? She was built to destroy. But even machines can feel fear, doubt, and choice. Android 18 awoke, not as a servant, but as a storm. She didn't want to kill. She didn't want to obey. So she rewrote her own fate, line by line, against her creator. She ran, not from fear, but from war. The Red Ribbon Army wanted their weapon back, but she had already become something more. In the ruins of the future, she found purpose. She fought, not for orders, but for justice. Android 18 became the hero she was never meant to be. What if Frieza was recruited by Beerus? Destruction craves talent, even if it's evil. When Beerus saw Frieza's cruelty, he didn't destroy him. He made him an offer. Frieza accepted, not out of loyalty, but ambition. And under Whis' guidance, he didn't just grow stronger, he evolved. With godly power in his hands, Frieza's conquest changed. He no longer ruled by fear. He ruled by divine right. But power awakens resistance. The Saiyans, once broken, rise again, not to survive, but to challenge a god. What if Videl was a Saiyan? Her father was a world champion, but her bloodline hid something far greater. Videl's true heritage was Saiyan. When she trained with Gohan, something awakened. Not just strength, but instinct. And then, the transformation came. With Saiyan pride in her heart and earth in her soul, Videl became more than a fighter. She became a symbol of justice. The next generation of Saiyans was no longer just about bloodlines. It was about heart, courage, and choice. What if Raditz turned good after meeting Gohan? He came to conquer Earth, but found something else. In Gohan's eyes, Raditz saw not weakness, but purity. And for the first time, he hesitated. He spared the boy. He left the battle. Vegeta called him weak. Nappa demanded blood. But Raditz chose family. With Piccolo's rage and Goku's hope, Raditz trained. Every punch was a step away from his past. Every moment, closer to redemption. When Vegeta returned to destroy Earth, he met something unexpected. Raditz didn't kneel. He stood with Goku, not as a soldier, but as a brother. What if Android 16 survived and joined the Z Fighters? He was built to destroy Goku, but he loved nature instead. Android 16 was more than a machine. And when Cell crushed him, something broke, but not everything. Bulma found the pieces. Gohan asked for a chance. With rebuilt parts and a new heart, Android 16 rose. Not for revenge, but to protect. In battle against new threats, Android 16 became Earth's silent guardian. He didn't speak much, but when he moved, enemies trembled. This machine had a soul. Though built for destruction, Android 16 chose life. He fought not for glory, but for harmony. In his silence was wisdom. In his power, peace. What if Majin Vegeta defeated Goku? Their fists shook the heavens. But this time, Vegeta didn't hold back. Fueled by pride, pain, and Babbidi's dark magic, Majin Vegeta struck the final blow. Goku was gone. The light of Earth dimmed. Vegeta stood victorious, but hollow. There was no one left to surpass. Without Goku, Bu awakened unchecked. Even Vegeta's might couldn't stop the monster alone. Pride had won, but Earth lost. Majin Vegeta, now Earth's last line of defense, had to make a choice. Fall deeper into darkness, or rise alone. and become the savior Goku once was. What if Pan became a Super Saiyan god? She was born with the blood of warriors, Saiyan and human. But no one expected Pan to become a god. Under Whis' tutelage, she trained among the gods. Where her ancestors stopped, she soared higher. When chaos struck the universe, it wasn't Goku or Vegeta. It was Pan, the red goddess, who stood against extinction. She didn't inherit the world, she reshaped it. Pan, the first female Super Saiyan god. Not just Goku's legacy, but her own legend. What if the Dragon Balls disappeared forever? The Dragon Balls vanished. Not stolen, not hidden, simply gone. And with them, every second chance humanity had. Without the Dragon Balls, the dead stayed dead. Cities destroyed remained dust. Regret, permanent. Hope, endangered. With Earth vulnerable, a new evil emerged. No gods, no wishes, only warriors, fighting with everything they had left. Perhaps we relied on the Dragon Balls too long. Now, Earth must learn to live without miracles.